Okay, this is part number 160, and it's a continuation of the last video. The data was divided up into about 6 or 7 videos, so I'll be putting them into groups because I have to keep splitting them up because there's more and more data coming up. So this one's called line 18A 3z2b8b, molecules, nucleotide, CO2, ATP Metabolic Pathways 5G Wow Seti. It's a continuation of this video, line 18A 3z2b8, Pioneer 11, Anomaly, Acceleration, Solar Neutrinos, Tevatron, Fermilab, W Bosons, CERN, 5G Wow Seti. So it's basically, I divided the data up. Okay? So there's the alien radio signal. This is a graph that I found that shows gas, liquid, and solids. Okay? Phases of matter, solid, liquid, and gas. Quote, the temperature is a measure of the average kinetic energy of motion of all the molecules or atoms in a material. All atoms are in motion to a lesser or greater extent, whether that be atomic vibrations in a rigid solid or straight line motions in a gas. And I found that at myweb.cwpost.liu.edu. So research data, March 7th, 2012, 4:04 a.m. Today's date is March the 8th, 2012 at 10:52 p.m. Okay, so taking a look at my comments, I'm given another puzzle to solve based on my thoughts. Comment on your video, line 18A 3z2b8, Pioneer 11 Anomaly, Solar Neutrinos, Tevatron, Fermilab, W Bosons, CERN, 5G Wow Seti. It's said to, at the ITER says, this was from C.D. Hunter, he said, molecular attraction is electrical in nature, hence the electric bond. Now the different state of matter is an entirely different mystery. That is to say, no one knows why molecules decide to act like solids, liquids, or gases. The best explanation is in the molecular bonds, but there is no clear theory why that is. Solve that secret and a new field of advanced material may be unlocked. And that's from Hunter CD. So Hunter CD's comment has been paraphrased. Molecules decide to act like solids, liquids, or gases. The question is why. Molecular bonds, but there is no theory, and if you solve this, we will have a new field and advanced material will be found. My answer is this. So I googled to find these facts. DNA sequence alpha beta is what came to mind immediately after reading his comment. So I started a Google search to see what I could find. Just want to show you this graph over here. This is a carbon dioxide molecule, and it shows carbon dioxide CO2 is an example of a nonpolar molecule. So there's the first graph that came up. So back to the words that came to mind when I read his comment. It's a DNA sequence alpha beta. So this is what came up. Alpha and beta hemoglobin DNA sequencing. Departments of Washington.edu. Says alpha and beta hemoglobin DNA sequencing laboratory medicine homepage from Karen Stevens, PhD, Director of Genetics. The next thing that came up is distantly related sequences in the alpha and beta subunits of ATP by J.E. Walker, 1982. And that's the www.ncbi.nlm.nih.gov. It says distantly related sequences in the alpha and beta subunits of ATP synthase, myosin, kinases, and other ATP acquiring enzymes in a common nucleotide. And then nucleotide in molecules, of course I Googled that to see what it means. Nucleotide comes up, these are molecules that when joined together make up the structural units of RNA and DNA. They also participate in cellular signaling. Okay, so then we go down and I Google carbon dioxide found in solid molecules, and CO2 nucleotides communicate. So molecular solid. A molecular solid is a solid composed of molecules held together by the van der, and then it says unit cell of solid carbon dioxide. A molecular solid containing a discrete CO2. So data to quote is anabolism, from Greek, ana, upward, and balon, to throw, is the set of metabolic pathways that construct molecules from smaller units. These reactions require energy. One way of categorizing metabolic processes, whether at the cellular organ or organism level, is an anabolic or as catabolic, which is the opposite. Anabolism is powered by catabolism, where large molecules are broken down into smaller parts and then used up in respiration. Many anabolic processes are powered by adenosine triphosphate, which is ATP. Anabolic processes tend towards building up organs and tissues. These processes produce growth and differentiation of cells and increase in body size, a process that involves synthesis of complex molecules. Examples of anabolic processes include the growth and mineralization of bone and increases in muscle mass. Endocrinologists have traditionally classified hormones as anabolic or catabolic, depending on which part of metabolism they stimulate. The classic anabolic hormones are the anabolic steroids, which stimulate protein synthesis and muscle growth. The balance between anabolism and catabolism is also regulated by circadian rhythms, which processes such as glucose metabolism fluctuating to match an animal's normal periods of activity through the day. So March 7, 2012, 4:19 a.m., my thoughts continued. Keywords were found: hemoglobin, DNA sequencing, ATP syntheses, myosin and kinases, enzymes, common nucleotide structural units of RNA, DNA. And it says nucleotides participate in cellular signaling CO2. So we take carbon dioxide creates metabolic pathways, and anabolism plus the CO2 molecules plus the ATP and adenosine triphosphate plus anabolic processes tends towards building up organs and tissues, produces growth and differentiation of cells, synthesis of complex molecules happens. So it looks like the CO2 is the main factor in the molecules, creating pathways with ATP that produces growth and differentiation of cells into liquid, solids, or gases. So Codas phase, synthesis phase, is a part of the cell cycle in which DNA is replicated, occurring between G1 phase and G2 phase. So I'm going to be covering the different parts of this data. I divided it into these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are all from the one. I've divided them into 6, okay? So it's, you'll look at line 18A, 3z2b8b, molecules, nucleotides, CO2 ATP metabolic pathways, 5G Wow Seti, which is this one, right? The next one will be line 18A, 3z2c, and it's fuel, Tokamak, Stellarator, ITER, plasma currents, ionized gas, UFO, 5G Wow Seti. Line 18A, 3z3, Laplace equation, solenoidal currents, double helix, Fourier's law, Faraday rotation, 5G Wow Seti. Line 18A, 3z3b, VHE, Y-ray, signal crab pulsar velocity, nuclear fusion, 5G Wow Seti. The next one will be line 18A, 3z3c, NSTX, collisionality, Tokamak, plasma beam rotation, nuclear fusion, 5G Wow Seti. The next one after that is line 18A, 3d NSTX, reduced collisionality, plasma confinement, density control, W7-X, 5G Wow Seti. These ones are all together. They all are going to be talking about, I take the keywords and of course define each one. So there'll be definitions, and also because when it says 5G, that means there's a formula that I'm coming up with in each of them. Okay, so the tags are here, and this also brings up the PDF files and stuff that comes up. These are all the topics that are in these videos, and what I basically do is I look for all the keywords that you'll find. So I've put all the same tags together, and I know usually YouTube doesn't allow me to put all the tags together, so I'll put most of them in the blog post on the Victoria Stafford A Secret our psychicinvestigation.wordpress.com. That's where I put all my notes. The title says Paranormal, UFO, Ghost Stories, Dreams, Remote Viewing, Visions. Right now I'm doing a psychic investigation of a missing person in Welland, so there's a lot of posts for that. But I'm also doing the lines of data from the Wow Seti signal. As you can see, I got tired of doing the same thing over and over again, so I've started to add different. I have a lot of projects on the go. As you'll see on my I got 4 different YouTube channels with different things on the go with them. So on this blog post, I'll be doing paranormal, ghost stories, haunted stuff, and then also the Wow Seti stuff for the formulas to build the 5G engine. And I look at the data, and whatever I don't understand, I look up the meanings for, and then I'm video blogging my research. Okay, so some of it's going to be kind of dry, because a lot of it I don't really understand. You will be very excited to know that there is a mathematical equation that comes up to figure out how to get the 5G force cell. So stay tuned.